Have you ever said, "I love you," to someone you truly care about, and felt absolutely nothing as the words left your mouth? Not because the love wasn't real. Not because your heart had changed. But because the words had become a habit, a reflex, something said the way you say, "Good morning," or "Take care," automatic, polite, empty. You say it before you sleep. You say it before hanging up the phone. You say it because the silence after would feel strange if you didn't. And somewhere along the way, without anyone noticing, the most powerful sentence in the human language quietly turned into background noise. Think about that for a moment. 3 words that once made your heart race the first time you heard them. 3 words that once felt like a confession, a risk, a sacred offering. And now? Now they slip out between sips of coffee, between glances at a phone screen, between one task and the next. Here is a question worth sitting with, even if it feels uncomfortable. If love truly is the greatest force in this universe, why does it feel so weak, so thin, so forgettable, when we speak it every single day without thinking? Could it be that we have been pouring something infinite into a container so small and so routine that it can no longer hold any weight? Today, we are not here to tell you to stop loving the people in your life. We are here to ask something deeper. We are here to explore why love spoken without presence slowly stops being felt, and what the great spiritual teachers, including Paramahansa Yogananda, understood about love that most of us were never taught. Stay with me until the end. You may never say those 3 words the same way again. Picture a husband who says, "I love you," to his wife every single morning before he leaves for work. Same tone. Same 3 seconds. Same distracted glance at his phone while the words leave his lips. She hears him. She has heard him say it for years. But somewhere inside her, she no longer feels it the way she once did. This is the quiet wound that so many relationships carry, and it is rarely talked about, because on the surface, everything looks fine. There is no shouting, no betrayal, no obvious crack. There is only a slow, almost invisible distance growing between 2 people who still say all the right words. This is not a lack of love. It is a lack of presence. Somewhere along the way, many of us learned to perform affection instead of practicing it. We say the words because silence feels uncomfortable. We say them because we fear being seen as cold or distant. We say them because we were taught, often without realizing it, that love must be spoken aloud to be considered real. But repetition without awareness slowly empties even the most sacred words of their power. A prayer recited without attention becomes mechanical. A blessing given without feeling becomes a mere formality. And "I love you," spoken 1,000 times without presence, slowly becomes just sound, drifting through a room, landing nowhere. The hidden problem we rarely admit to ourselves is this: we have confused the expression of love with the actual experience of love. And the people closest to us, the ones who know us best, can feel this difference, even when they cannot find the words to explain what is missing. To truly understand why our love can start to feel hollow, we need to look in 2 directions at once, inward toward the mind, and upward toward the soul. From a psychological perspective, the human mind is wired for habituation. Anything that is repeated without variation slowly begins to lose its emotional charge. This is true for a song you once loved deeply, for a beautiful view you pass every single day on your way to work, and yes, it is also true for words of love. The mind simply stops registering what it has come to expect. But the spiritual explanation goes even deeper than this. Paramahansa Yogananda often pointed toward the understanding that true love is not merely an emotion that rises and falls with our moods. It is a quality of consciousness, a faint reflection of a much vaster divine love that exists quietly beneath all of our passing thoughts and feelings. Human love, as most of us practice it, is filtered heavily through the ego, through personal need, through a hidden desire to receive love back in equal measure. So when we say, "I love you," very often, it is not actually the soul that is speaking. It is the smaller part of us that wants reassurance, that wants to be loved in return, that wants to fill some quiet emptiness inside. This is precisely why the words can begin to feel hollow over time. They are sometimes less of a declaration and more of a request, simply dressed up in beautiful language. Real love, the kind the great teachers spoke of throughout history, does not need to constantly announce itself. It simply gives, quietly, consistently, without ever keeping count of what it receives in return. Every relationship we find ourselves in carries a deeper thread than most of us ever pause to notice. In the yogic understanding of life, the people who enter our world, especially the ones we love most deeply, are often connected to us through patterns that have been building for a very long time, shaped by experiences far beyond what we can consciously remember. We are drawn to certain souls not by random chance, but because there is something between us still waiting to be healed, balanced, or finally understood. This means that the way you love today rarely begins from a blank page. If you find yourself loving someone with your whole heart, yet still struggling to express that love in a way that truly lands, or if you notice yourself repeating the same hollow patterns of affection that your own parents once showed you, this is not a personal flaw. It is an inner pattern quietly asking to be seen. Imagine a woman who grew up in a home where "I love you" was said often, yet warmth was rarely shown through actual presence or action. Now, as an adult, she finds herself doing the exact same thing with her own children, generous with words, yet somehow guarded with her presence. This is not simply coincidence. It is a quiet inheritance, passed down like an old family pattern, waiting for someone in that lineage to finally notice it and choose something different. This is karma in its gentlest, most everyday form, not punishment, but pattern. And the beautiful truth hidden within this is that awareness itself is the doorway out of any pattern. The very moment you see it clearly, you are no longer fully bound by it. How do you actually know if your love has quietly become more habit than heart? There are subtle signs, and once you start noticing them, they become difficult to ignore. You say, "I love you," but your eyes are on your phone, not on the person standing in front of you. You say it to end an argument quickly, hoping that the words alone will somehow repair what your actions have already damaged. You feel a small flicker of guilt as you say it, because some quiet part of you already knows it has become almost automatic, a reflex rather than a genuine offering. Think of a father who says, "I love you, Beta," every single night before his daughter falls asleep, yet has not actually asked her, in many weeks, how her heart truly feels underneath the surface. The words travel through the room and reach her ears, but they do not seem to arrive anywhere deeper. The daughter, over time, quietly stops believing the words themselves and starts believing only what she can actually see: late nights at work, distracted dinners at the table, a love that is named often but rarely demonstrated. This is the gap that so many of us are living inside without fully realizing it, the gap between saying and being. And the soul, in its quiet and patient wisdom, will always trust what someone does over what someone merely says. This is why a single missed bedtime story can sometimes hurt more than 100 unspoken feelings, and why one small act of true presence can heal more than 1,000 repeated words ever could. So what do we actually do instead? We are not being asked to stop loving the people in our lives, never that. We are simply being invited to change how that love is offered to them. First, replace empty words with full attention. Instead of saying, "I love you," while distracted, simply look at the person in front of you completely, for even just 10 quiet seconds. Put down whatever is in your hands. Let your eyes meet theirs with nothing else competing for your awareness in that moment. This simple act often communicates more truth than the words ever could on their own. Second, begin expressing love through small, consistent action. Make their tea exactly the way they like it, without being asked. Remember a small detail they mentioned days or even weeks ago, and bring it up again, showing them they were truly heard. Sit beside them in comfortable silence when words are not actually needed. Love that is shown through consistent action becomes a felt memory inside someone's heart, rather than simply a sentence that was once heard and quickly forgotten. Third, say the words less often, but say them completely, with your whole presence behind them. When you do choose to speak them, slow down. Mean every single syllable as it leaves your mouth. Let the words rise from a place of stillness within you, not from mere habit or routine. Fourth, and perhaps most importantly, turn inward before you turn outward. Spend a few quiet moments each day reconnecting with the love that already exists within your own being, through stillness, through gratitude, through simple meditation. When your own inner cup is genuinely full, the love you offer to others stops being a quiet request for reassurance and instead becomes a true and generous gift. Here is the quiet truth resting beneath everything we have explored together today. Love was never truly meant to be a sentence that we repeat out of habit. It was always meant to be a state of being that we simply live inside of, a constant and quiet radiance that flows outward naturally, much like warmth flows from a flame without that flame ever needing to announce that it is warm. The great spiritual masters who walked this earth before us did not love loudly or dramatically. They loved completely, through their presence, through quiet service to others, through a silence that somehow held more tenderness than 1,000 spoken words ever could carry on their own. They understood, deeply, that divine love asks for absolutely nothing in return, expects nothing back, and is given simply because giving is its true and only nature. When you finally stop performing love, and instead begin to truly become loving, patient in small everyday moments, fully present during ordinary conversations, generous without ever needing credit for it, something remarkable shifts within you. You stop quietly seeking love from other people, and you slowly become a genuine source of it yourself. And strangely enough, this is precisely when love begins to return to you most abundantly, not because you asked for it to come back, but simply because you became it. So perhaps the deepest spiritual practice available to any of us is not saying, "I love you," less often out of coldness, but instead, meaning it so completely each and every time, that the words finally carry the full weight they were always meant to hold. Before you go today, I want you to sit quietly with just one simple question. When was the last time someone in your life actually felt your love, not through the words you spoke to them, but through your presence, your attention, your stillness sitting beside them? If the answer comes slowly, or if it does not come at all, please know that this is not a failure on your part. It is simply a gentle invitation from life itself, inviting you to begin again, today, with someone who truly matters to you. Sometimes the most powerful spiritual practice is not found in a temple or a scripture, but in the quiet decision to put your phone down, look someone in the eyes, and let them feel that they are truly seen. If this reflection touched something quiet within your heart today, I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Tell me, who is the one person you thought of while listening to this video, and what is one small thing you could do today to let them truly feel your love, beyond just words? And as we continue walking this gentle path of inner awakening together, I want to know what would help you most. In the comments, tell me which topic you would like our next video to explore, whether it is about healing old relationships, finding inner peace in difficult times, understanding karma more deeply, or something else entirely sitting quietly on your heart. Your reflections genuinely shape this journey we are walking together. If this video brought you even a small moment of peace, please consider subscribing, so we may continue exploring these timeless truths side by side. Until we meet again, may you walk gently, love fully, and live in deep and lasting peace. Jai Guru Dev.